Hi, folks. Welcome to Crisco's Corner. Hi, folks. Welcome back. And those of you that are new, welcome. This comes from Politico, of all places. Dems in full-blown freak-out over Biden. One advisor to major Democratic donors keeps a running list of reasons Biden could lose. Now, before we get started, this channel is being pushed back a little bit from this website. I would personally appreciate if you think my content is worth it to subscribe and then watch some of my longer videos. Like this one's going to be a little bit longer because it's a long article, but I think it has a lot of information worth knowing. So if you think my content is worth it, please subscribe. Let's continue. A pervasive sense of fear has settled into the highest levels of the Democratic Party over President Joe Biden's reelection prospects, even among office holders and strategists who had previously expressed confidence about the upcoming battle with Donald Trump. All year, Democrats have been on a joyless and exhausting grind through the 2024 election. But now, nearly 5 months from the election, anxiety has morphed into a palpable trepidation, according to more than a dozen party leaders and operatives. And the gap between what Democrats will say on TV or in print and what they'll text their friends has only grown as worries have surged about Trump's prospects. You don't want to be that guy who was on the record saying we're doomed or the campaign's bad or Biden's making mistakes. Nobody wants to be that guy, said a Democratic operative in close touch with the White House and granted anonymity to speak freely. But Biden's stubbornly poor polling and the stakes of the election are creating freakout. I can't figure out, honestly, how he's doing as well as he is. I mean, I can't. It's like they're almost purposely sabotaging themselves. And even still, you see nationwide polls, Biden-Trump, Biden's up at maybe 2 points nationwide. That's everything. It's not the swing states. That's the nation as a whole. Now, I don't know if those are likely voters or registered voters or what, but the fact of the matter is, he should have a 10-point lead right now. Trump should have. I know people are low to their party. I get it. I used to be a local elected official. I get it. But the fact of the matter is still, he is so bad. This isn't, oh, my God, Mitt Romney might become president. It's, oh, my God, the democracy might end. First of all, moron, we live in a republic. I wish they would quit saying the end of democracy. We live in a republic that elects their officials democratically. Despite everything, Trump is running ahead of Biden in most battleground states. He raised far more money in April being Trump, and the landscape may only become worse for Democrats with Trump's hush money trial concluding in another, this one involving the president's son, set to begin in Delaware. Kind of like the reverse in New York with Trump. You think you're going to get an unbiased jury in Delaware? Good luck with that. The concern has metastasized in recent days as Trump jaunted to some of the country's most liberal territories, including New Jersey and New York. Over 100,000 people at Wildwood. 100,000 people. And 30 to 35, they estimate, were in Brooklyn. To woo Hispanic and black voters, as he boasted, and probably he would win in those states. I live in upstate New York, not New York City, thank God. New York State as a whole is plus 23 Democrat. The latest poll I saw, Biden is up by 9. Plus 23 down to 9. Is he going to win New York? No. But that means there's an erosion of the Democratic base. Well, he's long-legged Biden and cash on hand. Trump's fundraising outpaced the president's by $25 million last month and included a record-setting $50.5 million haul from the event in Palm Beach, Florida. One advisor to the major Democratic Party donors provided a running list that has been shared with fundraisers of nearly 24 reasons why Biden could lose, ranging from immigration and high inflation to the president's age and popularity of the Vice President Kamala Harris and the presence of a third-party candidates like Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Yeah, that's why I don't know why Trump's not ahead by 10. I do have to say, though, all those years from 2015, when he won, all the way through his first term, all the way up to day here, they've been nothing but pound Trump relentlessly in the media. It works to a certain extent. Donors ask me on an hourly basis about what I think the advisor said, calling it so much easier to show them, so while they read it, I can pour a drink. The advisor added, "This is why we could win is so small, that list, I don't even need to keep the list on my phone." So he must be young. Older people don't keep lists on their phone. On the day after news broke that Biden had trailed Trump in fundraising last month, Massachusetts Governor Maura Healey raised the pressure on donors as she introduced the president to a crowd of 300. The cluster of fundraising events Biden attended in Boston that day were expected to bring in more than $6 million for his political operation, but Healey said that wasn't good enough. "To those of you who opened up your wallets, thank you," said Healey, a Democrat in her first term. "We'd like you to open them up a bit more and to find more patriots who believe in this country, who recognize and understand the challenge presented at this time." Laughter rippled through the room. Let me read that again. In fact, I'll highlight it. Laughter rippled through the room. Yeah, but Healey's voice turned serious. With unusual urgency for Healey, the governor implored the room of high-dollar donors, the local Democrat leaders, to think long and hard about the stakes of the election. There have been few moments in Biden's term as president that haven't been second-guessed, and his aides have made sport of sneering at grim predictions, compiling dossiers of headlines and clips in which the president was underestimated. Yeah. Biden campaign aides and allies point to some positive polls, including in the battlegrounds. I still don't understand how Trump isn't up in almost all the swing states as well as the red states. Some positive polls, including in the battlegrounds, and Trump's comparative lack of campaigning and infrastructure in those key states, including staff organizing programs and advertising. That, if that's true, that's the mistake Hillary Clinton made in the swing states, especially in the north of the Midwest. Maybe he's just waiting. It is only June. I'm sure they have a plan. But Trump's people, I mean. A Biden campaign advisor granted anonymity to speak freely stressed that the president's team never made any indication that Trump's hush money trial would help or hurt him. Instead, the advisor contended that Trump will be forced to defend cutting back on abortion rights, attacking democracy, and advancing corporate interests as president. You must be kidding. The Democrats have become the party of corporate America. Period. Trump did nothing to do with abortion rights. The right to an abortion by law and the time, how many weeks, whatever the restriction or no restrictions are, just put back to the states where it should have been. Now, I'm 67, to give you an idea how long Roe v. Wade lasted. I was in 10th grade in high school when Roe v. Wade, that came down from the Supreme Court, that decision. And I'll be 68 this November, to give you an idea. Trump's photo ops and PR stunts may get under the skin of some very serious D.C. people as compelling campaigning, but they will do nothing to win over the voters that will decide this election. I'm not so sure. People are funny. I ran a lot of local elections. I helped a lot of campaigns here in upstate New York. I was a council member for 8 years, and it's funny. I remember when first time I ran for city council, I lost. And when I asked the people later, because I had a store, why did you guys vote for me? Because some of them admitted they didn't. And they all said the same thing. We didn't think you could win. People want to be on the side of the winner, whether they agree with them or not. It's just human nature. There's nothing you can do about it. Nothing. Biden campaign spokesman Kevin Motz told Politico, "The work we do every day on the ground and in the airways in our battleground states to talk about how President Biden is fighting for the middle class, which he's destroying, against the corporate greed that's keeping prices high." It's not corporate greed. It's a lie. It's pumping trillions of dollars of money into Build Back Better, the COVID nonsense. This caused the inflation. You don't have to be an economics major to understand that. And highlight Donald Trump's anti-American campaign for revenge and retribution and abortion bans. Trump's retribution plan. The crap they did to him, if he even gets half of the people that broke the law to go after him, I'll be happy. Is the work that will again secure us the White House. 3 lies. Abortion has not been banned in the United States. And I know this video is going to go long, but I have to say this. If abortion is so important, a woman's right to choose is so important to the Democrats, then why, since 1972, when the Roe v. Wade case came down and was decided on the Supreme Court, the Democrats have had the presidency, the House of Representatives, and the Senate several times since then. In fact, the first 2 years of Biden's presidency, they had all 3 houses. So why, oh why, did they not pass a national law on abortion? Because they're too cowardly. They thought it would last forever. I don't believe that. But the fact of the matter is they know. And many, we'll call them purple districts or swing districts in the House of Representatives, people don't want unlimited abortion. If they put a time limit on it, it would make the lefties mad. If they didn't put a time limit on it, the Republicans and the centrists would be mad. So as usual, they're cowardly and they did nothing. And then, God knows that 28, that's 52 years later, when it finally is thrown out, you're like, wow, what happened? Biden supporters will maintain optimism, say they'd rather be him than Trump before railing around abortion and issues of reproductive rights. Always killed me. Reproductive rights. You're not reproducing anything. In fact, just the opposite. Called it a fundamental game changer. We have to run a campaign where, honestly, we drive home the message that Donald Trump takes us back to the 19th century. What a load of bullshit. Biden takes us further in the 21st century. Oh, I mean by putting your political opponents in jail? By going after everybody that aided or worked for your political opponent as president, and even after? Steve Bannon, Navarro, we can go through the whole list. The list is endless. I mean, take us back to the 21st century, like putting hundreds of people, were they arresting 3 a day now for January 6th? Still? 4 years later? He did not remark on whether such a campaign is being run or run to his satisfaction. A lot can happen between now and then, acknowledged Representative Ann Kuster, a Democrat from New Hampshire. She, too, pointed to eroding abortion rights under the conservative-led Supreme Court remade by Trump. Because it was a bad decision. I know a significant number of voters are going to be motivated by the Dobbs decision. But Democratic cities of the campaign approach, while agreeing that abortion should be a winning issue, say that they're challenged when pressed by friends to make the case for why Biden will win. There's still a path to win this, but they don't look like a campaign that's embarking on that right path right now because they're clueless to what the American people want. All they're going to have is abortion, 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 abortion. Trump's going to wreck this country and take away democracy forever, which both are lies. Democratic strategists who worked on multiple presidential campaigns said if the frame of this race is what was better, the 3.5 years under Biden or 4 years under Trump, we lose that every day of the week and twice on Sunday. Yeah. So your policies don't work. You're not trying to save the middle class. You're not trying to do all those things that they say Trump's against and Biden's for. What was better, the 3.5 years under Biden or 4 years under Trump? And we lose that every day of the week and twice on Sunday. That was the famous Ronald Reagan saying, are you better off than you were 4 years ago? And the answer is no. So they're going to bring up abortion and killing democracy. They're not going to go after the damage they've done to this country. In the swing state of Michigan, a Democratic state representative, Lori Podhusky, suggested Biden's standing is so tenuous that down-ballot Democrats can't rely in November on the top of the ticket to pull us along. That's also very important. If you're in a swing state, or you can be in any state, really, because there's a Republican and Democrat congressional districts in every state. Some are even, some are lopsided like California. Down ballot people pick up a lot in the presidential years because there's more of a turnout. She said, that's not the case this time. I worry that because we've had 4 years with a stable White House, particularly young voters don't feel the sense of urgency and might not remember how disastrous 2017 right after the Trump administration took over. It wasn't disastrous at all. Absolutely at all. The only thing that they went against was some of his Supreme Court nominees. They called one guy, that he did some horrible things to women when he was in college, which was all lies. Zero evidence, zero witnesses, nothing. Remember, believe all women? Remember the Biden campaign has been doing over the last 2 months, and it's a lot of activity, including $25 million in swing state ad spending, according to Ad Impact. It has only been a limited effect. According to 538, Biden's job approval rating on March 7th, the date of the State of the Union address, was 38.1. As of Friday, it's 38.4. I can't believe it went up. 25 million per 0.3 increase. Good. Throw money down the toilet. And this standing against Trump has also changed a little. On April 22nd, the day Trump's criminal trial began, the presumptive GOP nominee held a 0.3 lead in the national polls, according to 538. Trump is about a point up since then, currently leading Biden by 1.4 points in the 538 average. Because you dummies are doing the same thing in the media that you did in 2016. You are giving him hundreds of millions of dollars, meaning Trump. You're giving him hundreds of millions of dollars of free advertising, dummy. Asking about polling, Bernard said the only metric that will define the success of this campaign is election day. In other words, we only think the polls are accurate when we're winning. When we're not winning, they're not accurate, and election day is a determination. Trump, meanwhile, has already started his incursion into the safe blue states, his campaign psychological warfare in New York, California, New Jersey, where House districts will determine control of the Congress' lower chamber, is spiking Democrats' already elevated blood pressure. Too freaking bad. New York Democrats need to wake up, said Manhattan Bureau President Mark Levin. The number of people in New York, including people of color that I came across who are saying positive things about Trump, is alarming. Oh, because they don't agree with you? That's time to sound the alarm? These people are so arrogant. Biden's weaker numbers bear that out. The Siena College poll released Wednesday showed Biden leading Trump in New York by only 9 points. 47 to 38% among registered voters. 4 years ago, Biden won the state by 23 points. And I live in upstate New York. I'm telling you, that's accurate. 23-point advantage for the Democrats. Now it's only 9. Think about that for a minute. Are these ever going to win New York? No. But that really, really makes a difference in the down ballots, i.e. Congress, the U.S. Senate, local representatives like city council, mayors, state assembly, the state senate, and so on and so on. The president is underwater with every demographic delineated in the poll, other than black voters. 53% of Latinos and 54% of whites reported having an unfavorable opinion of him, meaning Biden. So then Biden released TV and radio ads in the Empire State on Thursday ahead of Trump's campaign rally in the Bronx. Vin has been something of a Paul Revere in New York, sounding alarm 2 years ago when a Trump-aligned Republican gubernatorial candidate, Lee Zeldin, who I saw speak and talk to a couple of times, I've met him, he was a very good candidate, appeared to be gaining ground on Kathy Hochul, the moderate Democrat incumbent. Hochul narrowly held him out. She's not a moderate. It's not even close. It's just the problem. He changed the definition of all the words. They have no meaning anymore. She just said the other day that all the people that came to the Trump rally in Brooklyn are clowns. And then she said we need to get some technology into the so-called black neighborhoods and communities because a lot of black kids don't even know what a computer is. If they saw one, think about that racist statement for a moment. And she's a moderate? The Democrats have always been the racists. Always. I'm worried it's going to be a 2022 situation where everyone wakes up in the last 7 weeks and has to scramble. Levine said of his state, which hasn't swung the GOP since Ronald Reagan in 1980. This cycle, Democrats have also had to contend with the war in Ukraine, the conflict between Israel and Hamas. Well, believe me, there's enough rhino Republicans to give you cover for that, which has deeply divided their ranks and contributed to a sense of chaos. New York Democrat known for his advert defense of Israel was similarly concerned for his party, although he pointed to the high cost of groceries and goods that started during the pandemic and is yet to abate. That's a lie, too. See how political they always twist everything? The high cost of groceries and goods and services did not dramatically go up until Biden was sworn in. And that's January of 21. Technically during the COVID, but most of it was already gone. The greatest political challenge confronting the president starts with I. It's not Israel, it's inflation. The cost of living is a challenge that we have to figure out how to manage. It's too late, morons. It's too late. He said Biden should focus on issues around affordability and continue to tout his success in capping insulin costs in areas with high rates of diabetes, like his Bronx district. Oh, okay. That's it? Of the trillions of dollars, what I call hidden taxes, which inflation really is, who hurts low-income people worse than any other demographic, so they get cheaper insulin. Well, there you go. Let's vote for Joe. Meanwhile, I went to the grocery store yesterday. I even worked part-time in a grocery store. Give me something to do. Because when you're retired, it's not good just to sit around and do nothing. I got barely anything, and it was $86. How are you going to get around that? Oh, we have cheaper insulin. Oh, okay. You're paying $500 more a month for groceries, another $200 for utilities, and I'm saving $150 a month on my insulin. Oh, I'll vote for Joe. These people are such morons. The election is more competitive than it should be. Yeah, you're right. Given the wretchedness who Donald Trump is, he said. These people are so deluded. I don't know if they believe it themselves or they're grifters, but I think a lot of them do believe it. And that's definitely a mental health issue. In a properly functioning democracy, again, we are not a democracy, fool. Donald Trump should have no viable path to the presidency. The effect of a competitive race is cause for concern. Trump has reeled against blue state officials, starting with the justice system in New York, and he should. And he has, even before he got put on trial. In California, look at the store closings and the people being attacked. The people not alive anymore, because you can't say the proper words on here, because the algorithm will pick it up. There's people that are losing their life, and the people are let out with no bail. There's homeless people everywhere in every major city in California, even the small ones. In California, he dispatched his daughter-in-law, Laura, and one of his sons, Eric, to hold up the West Coast Democratic heavyweight as a cautionary tale. Yeah. Newsom is a cautionary tale. This is what you'll get if you keep voting for Democrats. I'm sorry you have to live in communism, Eric Trump said Wednesday at the Stampede, a country music venue in Temecula. Now, a very good buddy of mine, a guy I grew up with, we lived on the same street, we grew up together, lives in Temecula. I'll have to ask him if he went to the Eric Trump talk at the country music venue. An inland community between Los Angeles and San Diego. Yeah, they're fairly conservative down there. Trump casually dismissed California Democrat Gavin Newsom as the nation's worst governor. He may be, but there's a lot of bad Democrat governors. There's a couple of bad Republicans, too. The elder Trump is set to appear in early June at the San Francisco fundraising hosted by tech investor David Sachs and his wife, a clothing brand executive along with venture capitalists. Some of the past political donations run the gamut, from Elizabeth Warren to a super PAC supporting Kennedy Jr. He also gave to the recall committee against Newsom in 2021 and briefly considered running for governor. And they're talking about that, some of the fundraising they're doing. And in New York, California, Democrats are bracing for more incoming from Trump. San Francisco has changed with the taxpayers, the job creators, tech CEOs who want to engage with the city in its politics, said Hamid Dillon, the RNC committee member from California. I wanted her to be the RNC chair, but I guess the guy that they picked is good. And Laura Trump, the president's sister-in-law, or I should say daughter-in-law, excuse me, is the vice president, so to speak, of the RNC. Hamid Dillon was reflecting on her run-ins with Democrats in the city, where she spent years leading the local GOP before her law firm represented Trump in legal fights to remain on state ballots. Few Democrats are willing to confide in Hamid about their fears, she conceded, but no one is sharing the sense of enthusiasm. The most diplomatic thing I hear from Democrats is, oh, God, are these the choices we have for president? And there you have it. I'm sorry the article was long, but I think there's a lot of information that you need. And there it is. But I want to say this to Trump supporters, Republicans, conservatives, even moderates and independents, and even some disillusioned Democrats. Don't think Trump has this in the bag. Do not think that. Now is the time to put your foot on the gas pedal even harder and double down. When you have your enemy down and you can eliminate them, do it. Because if you don't, you got to end up fighting them again. And why fight the same fight twice? Do it once and get it over with. It's, Patton used to say that. I don't want to retreat. I don't want to fight over the same ground twice. You got the Democrats on the run. They're down. Now is the time to press even harder. Even harder. Win the popular vote and the Electoral College. Because there's many, believe it or not, Democrat states that have signed legislation that says whoever wins the popular vote gets all of their electoral votes, whether that state voted for that person or not. So if Trump wins the popular vote, all those states that pass legislation have to give their electoral votes, even though Biden won their state, to Trump. Unless, of course, at the last minute they change the law, which they probably will, and then you'll have a lot of court battles. So there it is, folks. They're freaking out. But this is only the beginning. When you have them down like this, just don't give up. Until the next time, God bless, goodbye, and good luck.